It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to The B Show. I am your host, Deborah Voltaire-Coulange. Well, usually, I start off with hey, and high beat energy and everything, but one thing about me, in case you don't know who I am, besides the Queen Bee, is I am not fake. I will kind of hold maybe a little bit to myself, but I like to tell it like how it is, no chaser, as they would say. So let's get into this. Today's show, it's going to be a little different than usual. I know we usually start off with a little chitter chatter and then we go into our sports show. But today we're actually going to do, well, not our sports show, I apologize, our sports talk. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to do sports talk followed by my special guest. And I have not one, but I have two. And even though it's more focused for the month of May, mental health awareness, I kind of wanted to talk about it on today's show. For many people who are not aware of the mental health has increased significantly since COVID. I don't know if I said that right, because I also have, problem with words, but we said that from the jump, right? We understand that. Let's fix that a little bit. And due to COVID, mental awareness has increased. So what I wanted to do today was to basically have a show that is going to talk about that in the sports world, in schools, maybe a little bit in marriages, amongst girlfriends, among white and Black, and especially what's happening now with the Asian community. I know it has to be at an all-time high. So that's what I wanted this show to be. I could be fun, I can be bubbly, I could be everything you want and more. But sometimes I feel like we have to address the issues. Like we're going to have another show designed for today, and I just woke up this week and was like, I'm not feeling it. And I don't want to do something that I'm not feeling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to not do the show because I have things that I want to talk about and I have things on my mind. But I didn't want to have a show that was not about what concerned me this week, if that makes sense. So let's be real. This mental health, like I said before, it's a big thing amongst many different races and something that we don't speak about at all, especially in the Black community. I believe women and men have it at different, I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. This is the B Show. This is just how I feel, that it's all different levels at different times for people. And I first want to start off with it with sports. And I feel like my next guest here, Jamal Womack, would be a great person to have because not only does he coach and he goes to he went to a great school, St. Francis, I think I'm saying right, in Brooklyn, and he experienced probably experienced it, seen it. And I just thought, he would be great for us to have this conversation. And also with the NBA players, they have to go through this as well, especially, last year with them being in the bubble. To me, that probably causes so much anxiety and panic to be away from their family and friends for so long. So we are going to start our show, like I said, a little flip it and reverse it, Missy Elliott. We're going to start off with Jamal, then we're going to have my new friend, Dave, followed by my sister in love, Coralie. So let's start this show off, baby. Welcome, Jamal, please. I need to get my clapper. All right, guys, ready? Also, are you feeling my makeup? I just love it. It's like nice and clean. All right. Here we go with the background screen. Hello, Jamal. Oh, okay. We changed it a little bit.
Gotta get a little more professional when I'm handling. on the B show. It's a little different.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. So I was saying before that I usually start off the show a little bit different, where I have like, I call it maybe like girl talk or chatter or whatever that's like on my mind for the week. And then we do our little sports talk. But I wanted to have you first because because I do what I do. But also I wanted the show to kind of still be about sports, but I kind of wanted to go into mental health that deals with sports. A lot of people don't speak about with athletes, amongst coaches, especially the younger kids who are trying to be all-stars to get into the NBA league and much more in that. So I just thought you would be a great person to have. And I'm sorry for all the people who are probably upset that this is your second time, but
I know. I feel blessed. I feel blessed.
You are blessed. And I just felt like you can definitely help me and be an insight to everything that I just said.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I was surprised when I got the call. I'm like, again? And then I saw the topics and I said, okay, it's very serious topics, things that need to be addressed now that can't wait, unfortunately. So if I can use my, my platform to speak on things that I've been through and things that I know from being in this side of the business, I'm here for hit it out.
And so for all those who may not know, can you please just tell us briefly what it is exactly that you do?
So my name is Jamal Womack. I graduated St. Francis College from the Bronx, New York. I was blessed to play Division I basketball at St. Francis, and after that, had a 4-year career in Europe, and living in Italy and living in Finland, playing professional basketball.
Wow.
After doing that, I was even more blessed to come back and work as an assistant coach at my alma mater at St. Francis College, where now I also assist with alumni engagement and the annual fund at the college.
Very, very cool.
Thank you.
So first things first, we're gonna start. I'm letting people know I'm not trying to make anyone wanna, not watch today, but sometimes you got to talk about some real stuff. And right now we have a third civil lawsuit filed against Desean Watson from Houston, Texas, of sexually assaulting a massage therapist. I love getting massages, but let me tell you something. There's no way that I just can't. Yeah. I understand you feel really good when you give him a massage, but from what I read, she walked in and he was covered and then like, hey, I got something for you. And this is not his first, this is not his second, this is his third time.
Man, I have 4 nieces. I have 2 sisters. I'm a son, so I came from a mother,
Yeah.
If you didn't come from, if you have, 2 mothers and 2 fathers, it's the same thing. Whoever you love, you want them to be respected in all ways. And that's how I look at it. I want to say, I'm not going to say he's guilty or innocent because, we have to wait to see what comes out. But with 3 different instances, it's almost to the point where it's like, all right, if someone's making it up,
who are you going to listen to? Like now you're guessing yourself of things you believe.
Yeah, because at first I was like, you know what, because sometimes, and I hate to say this because I don't want to discredit women when they come out and something happens to them. So, I do not want to feel like, because when the first one came out, I was like, oh, this might be true or this might not be true. I would say that if someone accused a woman of hitting a man, I would say, you know what, I don't know yet. But when the next one comes out and when the next one comes out, I'm like, what kind of conspiracy is this? Or does he really have a problem with what's the word, with rules and regulations and just
and
or consent
or did something happen to him, which brings me back to mental health, happen to him? Because usually people who do this, it has been done to them.
Or they've been involved in something that's close to, not giving consent or not feeling like they had consent before, or and for athletes, let's be honest, a lot, and I'm just being straight up honest.
A lot of them can get it when they want it, how they want it, And they
And
have
a
that
lot more
power.
times, a lot more times girls are gonna say yes than they say no. So when you hear that no, do you really take it as a no, or do you take it as she's just
Right.
playing hard to get? And that's where things start to get into that, gray area where, now I think we need to listen to women more, and we need to understand that this, unfortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, we're in a new era where a lot of
Correct.
things that may have been passed before, or a blind eye to before, we're not going to have a blind eye now. So I hope that we get to the bottom of this, and I hope that if these things are true, he's disciplined, and he's,
Now, is he still playing?
I mean, he's still going to play until they take it to court. And
Right.
here's another thing about the legal system that we have to watch is, if these ladies take him to court to get him prosecuted, then we can go through a trial, and he can have his due rights, and he can have his due
Yes.
process. But what happens in a lot of these situations is they take that deal, they sign that non-disclosure agreement because they take the money,
R.
and
Kelly's
now
people, a lot of that, yeah.
a lot of OJ, I mean, not OJ Simpson, excuse me, R. Kelly, a lot of people happen. OJ, he just got, he had the civil suit, which he was
Right.
found responsible. But again, the civil suit doesn't say that you necessarily did it. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
that gray area where, if that happens with Deshaun Watson, you can't legally say that he was found guilty, which makes it a gray area for him to be fired, is what I'm getting at.
And I feel the same way, with our own Governor Cuomo right now. So
He's
it's
going through
like
the same
every day
thing.
it's a different thing, but everyone's like, let's wait with him. But when this was, and I'll say, because I was the number one person, but when it was someone like Bill Cosby, we were ready to convict.
Oh, we know what that's
and the
about.
jury,
We know
And
what that's about.
He went
I mean,
away.
that's
No, I was one of the person that said get rid of him. I wasn't the one that said like that I'm doing right now for Governor Cuomo. That's my point. I'm actually, and then people may call me out and say, "Oh, here you are. You were ready to criticize and nail Bill Cosby, but not Governor Cuomo." And I'm not saying one was worse than another, but I just feel like if a woman says they went to bed and woke up and was like, "What the hell happened to me?" That's a little different. Nothing is acceptable, though. I just want to make that clear.
Nothing at all. And I had this conversation with my friend. I'm lucky and blessed enough to have friends that we can have open dialogue and really be honest with each other
and that's
on the
what
women's
I'm trying
side.
to do here.
Yeah.
Correct.
And she's a lady, so and that's what we're doing here. So that's why I was going to allude to. I'm just going to be totally honest. Is where I hope we get to a point where not only this is not happening, but women feel so confident in men believing them and people believing them that are not afraid to wait until they have other allies with the story. You see, that's basically what's happening.
And that's also sad because we've also crucified, because say if it's a strong, powerful man, we're like, he wouldn't do that. You wanted it. You put yourself in that situation. Yes. And then these women get upset. And this goes back to mental health. This plays in their head what to do. They may not tell a friend or family until a long, long time. And unfortunately, it's too late. And then you bring that anxiety and trauma into trying to find another relationship or trying to get another friend, even a friendship. You may be like, I told one friend and she didn't believe in me.
Can't trust them.
Why
you don't
should
have
I
your
tell
trust
anyone
factors.
else?
Nah, 100%. I don't know if we'll see it, because it's just like when we talk about social issues, there's like things take generations to delete, and we still see racism in 2020 towards minorities, towards Asians that we're seeing this week with the horrific killings in Atlanta and Georgia. And we see how long that takes to play out. So, but I do believe, with more women in power, with more women
and I just
out,
think in general, anyone speaking up, but this goes into my next segment of the New England Patriots, Patrick Chung, who has decided he's going to stop playing because it was just for his mental health, his family, and his kids. It's just, he's not over it, but he had to realize what's more important. And that's another thing. Sometimes, even for myself, I work so hard to make sure like I finish a deadline over the time. Like if they say, oh, we need this due by Wednesday, I like to be the one to have it done by Sunday night. because you just want to be the best. But I applaud him where he was just like, I've done this for long enough. My family comes first.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think?
I think that's big. It's tough retiring as an athlete. I'm a retired athlete, and we'll talk about it later. Mental health is a big thing in sports, and just when you make those type of decisions, those life-changing decisions,
Especially
it's
so
really
young. He's only 33.
only 33, could have played more years. But sometimes you see the end result. You see what some of these guys are going through with CTE. You see what's going on with the world, and you got to realize, what are you standing for, and what do you want your kids and your legacy to be?
He said money's not important. It was not about how much money he make or how much more he could make. He just really wanted to be there with his family. And I think COVID made a lot of people decide, like, family is where it's at. Like, this is what had to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it always takes a struggle or a challenge to bring to sit you down. Like, that's what I like to say. I like to say things happen to sit you down so you can actually think about what's really important. And we're going to see a lot more athletes do it. Maya Moore is not coming back to play basketball in the WNBA because she's focused on another goal. She's focused on social justice, and she's been a champion.
And I was going to say, isn't Kyrie, like, isn't that one of his things? Like, he's kind of over it as well.
He's over it. I mean, he still loves to play, so that's why he's still into it. But you could tell his heart is in different things. He's not just a basketball player anymore. Right. Kyrie is a persona. He's a figure. He's a social justice advocate, a champion for social justice.
And I think LeBron's doing the same.
LeBron too.
He's like, what, took some ownership of Red Sox, and people are like, bro, what are you doing, Red Sox? But
because Boston is a very, very weird area. So a lot of people are upset about him being the owner for different reasons, and you guys can read between the lines on that one.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I can't wait to see.
I think the same way people were mad at Jay-Z, right? The same way people were mad at Jay-Z for signing with the NFL in the partnership. But if you look at the Super Bowl this year, he kind of made sure that it was a lot of colored people who worked there, who performed. Mm-hmm. When did you ever think you would see Jasmine Sullivan and her? Like, that wasn't because of someone who just said, hey, they're good music,
You're absolutely right. It's a long game, and sometimes people are short-sighted. They can't understand this is a game. You got to be strategic in your moves and strategic in everything that you do. And, the player from the Patriots, he's strategic. He thought about this. This doesn't happen overnight. It's not the decision that he had overnight. I'm sure he's talked with his family about it, and he's comfortable. And that's when we segue into the mental health aspect of it. You have to be able to be comfortable and live with yourself. And make those decisions at the end of the day.
And I think doing something like that, you actually show how strong you actually are. Mm-hmm. That you could say, I'm walking away from this. I'm good with what my legacy is with football, but I have something bigger for my family.
Yep. And, Jim Brown did it way back when. Muhammad Ali said he wouldn't fight when they were going against what he believed in.
Yeah.
Abdul Rauf, he was blackballed from the NBA because of his belief in Islam. We've seen it, and more people are going to do it now because we're realizing especially during the pandemic, like you said, money didn't save people who got COVID. Right. Millions of dollars didn't save people. What color you were didn't save necessarily you. Maybe you got better treatment, but it didn't. People died from all races, creeds, and colors throughout the world.
Agreed.
What's more important? What's important to you? If this happened again in 3 years and you lost 5 family members, how would you feel? What's your relationship with each of the people you love? And I think that's what people are starting to realize.
So true. On some good news, and for the Black community, I don't know if you heard, but New Orleans is going to come up with their own little league for HBCU.
Actually, which I should get her on your show for you. There's a young lady named Kimberly Gallo, who's the assistant athletic director at New Orleans University. And she's a very good friend of mine. We work with a non-for-profit called ABIS, the Advancement of Black in Sports. And she was actually one of the people behind the scenes.
Wow.
So when you
Make those
sent it to me, I
connects,
didn't.
bro.
Yeah, I'll get you guys on a chain so you can get it on here. But I didn't know it got approved until you sent it to me.
Oh, you see
So I
me
knew she was
breaking
working on
news.
it. Yeah, you broke the news. So I
Yes,
knew she
for
was working on it.
NFL players, and it's going to be in New Orleans. And I think that's going to be great. And it's going to be during February for Black History Month. And it's going to be such a shine for these athletes and these coaches. You know, it's kind of going to be like their all-star
game. And big credit to Prime, Deion Sanders. Don't think him going to Jacksonville State, a HBCU school, and being the head coach now doesn't push the needle. Like when your celebrities go back to our communities and our schools, things can happen. You don't always have to go to an Ivy League school or to a top, a Duke University to make things happen. It can happen in the HBCU. So I'm excited for this.
Me
this
too.
opportunity.
It's going to be like the top 100 schools, and it's going to be right after the Super Bowl, the week after. And I think there's no other better place than New Orleans. Hopefully by then COVID will be a little bit less restricted, and the party there will probably be.
I knew you was going there. I was about to say, I know when you go. For all our ratchet people, let's not turn New Orleans into the new Freaknik when they have this event. Let's keep it.
We need the line dancing. We need the whole band. I need Beyonce to do her homecoming performance. That's going to be so good. And New Orleans has lost so much this year because they couldn't do Mardi Gras. So that's going to bring in a lot of revenue as well.
Yeah, New Orleans, they have been hurt by so many different things for the last 15, 20 years. It's been a very tough situation down there for New Orleans. So anything that they could get their economy to bounce back up. And it's a lot of Black, brown people, minority people in those areas who are disenfranchised and don't have a lot to really push forward to. This should create some revenue for them.
Correct. So I know we did a little happiness for the Black community, of course. But going back to mental health, playing sports does not mean just because you're an athlete, you won't be immune to have to perform your best. We've seen a lot of kids who have those dad and mom coaches who like, Mom, I don't feel well. Can't go to practice today. And it's like, what are you talking about? You get up. And I know that instills something in them, but sometimes we don't let a kid be a kid. Sometimes we just put a kid in a sport because that's what we want them to do, not because that's what they want. And I think that gives them pressure to perform in a game as well as in their public lives. And being an athlete, I am one because, I used to play softball. My team.
I know, I heard. Softball is a legit sport. Don't underplay it.
No, it's not. We never won, but we had so much fun.
And there you go. And that's why you're a happy person instead of some people who may have won games and upset about their childhood.
They're still miserable. Yeah, we would lose and be like, who wants to go get pizza?
Yeah, I mean, I come from that camp too. I was lucky with my aunt and my mom's and all my support system. They never cared about me playing sports. They let me play sports because I like to play sports. They never put pressure. They never told me I had to play basketball or get a scholarship or try and play professionally. So I was lucky to have really the most pressure I put was on myself to be good because I wanted to.
I was going to say also being an athlete, you also have that pressure to be doing well in class because we all know no matter what, unless you have like some teacher who just they want you to, just go on to the next class.
What teachers do that? Teachers do that? No. Teachers do that?
So when athletes get hurt, they receive time to cool off or to not be able to play some games. But what happens when those injuries are invisible? Like, who's there to help them with that?
And you touch on that. It's tough sometimes because they can't not necessarily trust their coaches, but if you're having, like you said, invisible injury, which is a mental health issue or something you're going through.
Yeah, or say that you've been told you can't play because your games are bad or low, your grades are low, or you can't play the game because you hurt your ankle and like you only have 3 more games and they're coming to come and see you. Like this was a legit episode that I saw on this show 911. He wanted to prove so good, like he was so good playing basketball. He twisted his thumb and they were like, honestly, it'll heal in a week or 2. And he's like, no, they're coming to see me. or was it Grey's Anatomy? I don't remember. He cut his thumb off so that he can play the game.
What?
And came back and was like, I have the thumb, just sew it back on. And they were like, you spent so much time with it off, you didn't ice it or anything, we can't fix it, and you will never be able to play basketball. But he
what
wanted
show was this?
It was Grey's Anatomy.
I want to make sure I never watched this episode in my life. This is
he
crazy.
wanted to play basketball so hard that he was he cut his own thumb off with the saw. So the scouts could come and see him.
That's a lot of pressure, and he probably had a lot of pressure from his family because he needed to make it out the hood.
He was going to be the first one to graduate from college.
That's a lot of pressure, and the thing is, what happens to when you don't make it? You know,
exactly.
The best phrase I ever heard was when people used to say, it's been in movies all the time, so it's not my quote, but people say, "Hey, don't forget about me when you make it," and they respond, "Well, don't forget about me if I don't." You know,
right.
And only 3%. Only 3% of, I'll stick to basketball because that's what I played and coach. Only 3% of college basketball players play professional on any level. That's Europe, that's Asia, that's Africa, that's the Middle East, wherever. And then only about 1% play in the NBA. So we're talking about 96% of everyone who plays college basketball will never be a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
What happens when you don't reach that success that you wanted? Who do you talk to? How do you deal with it? You know, how do you go back to your neighborhoods where people probably personified you as a god when you left to go to college, and now you're coming back home like just trying to join society, and you're looked at as a failure when you're still successful. You know, that's a tough question, and I think it all deals with these kids' support systems and who they talk to, and also preparing
that's a
these
good
kids.
segue because I'm going to have my next guest. He's a guidance counselor, and I think that's very important to talk about.
Nice assist. I used to be a point guard. I'm throwing assist out there.
Who can children go to in high school and college if they feel like they can't go and talk to their family, you know? And he's waiting eagerly to join this chat.
Get him in here.
So we'll do a little intro, and then I will say sayonara to you because everyone has to have their time.
No, I'm thank you. I'm appreciative. I'm gonna go home and get ready for this.
Hello, welcome. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right. We were just saying something, and I said, well, let me, put you in because this is.
I know how you do. You about to talk bad, and I was late, and I wasn't late.
No, I wasn't even gonna. First of all,
I'm joking.
This is our first time ever meeting, so don't come for me unless I send for you.
All right. I got
you.
Second of all, I was just complimenting you, was I not?
Yes, she was.
You see, I was just saying. Well, he was saying that some children need someone to talk to when they're in school, like someone who's not their mom and dad. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I got the perfect person because that's how we're going to go to the next segue.
Right. There you go.
There we go.
And first of all, I've been a fan of yours. You don't even know. So let's start off on the right foot.
Why was you a fan? What'd I do?
Because I see when you work out with Lauren.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I call you a gorilla. I'd be like, yo, Carl. Yo. Carl's like, I will never. Sorry. So what we wanted to say was there are so many issues, with mental health in high schools and elementary schools, colleges, and beyond that. Right. What are some ways that we can help the youth?
So first of all, some ways you can help.
On time out, and Jamal introduced each other, so you got to understand what the whole shebang is about.
Oh. Jamal Womack. I work at St. Francis College, coach Division I for about 7 years. Now I work in advancement and alumni engagement.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
My name is Dave. I work at Brooklyn School for Math and Research. I'm a school counselor. Recently, I'm more newer school counselor, but I did a bunch of different positions in the DOE already. Just finally got the title. So we're pretty much in the same. You know what I'm saying? Playing field. But nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you as well, man.
All right. So to your question, you said
what are some ideas or thoughts or advice that we can tell other athletes, student athletes, who may be experiencing some mental health issues?
So the first thing we need to do about that is normalize recognition of it. So a lot of people don't normalize the recognition of mental health issues, especially in the African American community.
Yes.
So it's a big thing. It's a big thing for us. I myself was a student athlete, and a lot of things are pushed to the side because like when you are a student athlete, as you are grateful to go on to these higher divisions and things like that, it's literally a business. They don't really care as much as they should for you. You do what you need to do for them. And it's kind of like I use you, you use me type of thing.
Yeah, and now we were just saying that at work, for even work. I'm in a corporate, and I'm always like something's due Wednesday. I like to have it done by Monday, not only because I'm a female, but because I'm a Black female.
Right.
And I always want to make sure they see me.
Right. So you deal with that stigma of it. And then it's like, they don't really. It's sad to say, the reality is, I'm gonna be a realist. They don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So they don't care about you, especially a Black athlete. That's the stereotypical thing. That's what you're there for. You could, you know what I'm saying? You big, strong, fast. You could run, shoot, throw, pass, whatever. And pretty much they want to use you what you're good for, and they don't really care about how you are mentally, your growth, your progress after school, or things that, you know what I'm saying, things that are being done to you, at home. How's your family at home? The environment you grew up in. How's that aspect of it?
Right.
They don't care about that. So
would you say the same as well?
I'm sorry?
I'm asking Jay, does he feel like that as well in college?
Yeah, of course. I was telling you about the non-for-profit that I'm working with, ABIS, Advancement of Sports and Blacks. Mm-hmm. And one of our biggest things that we're going to try and get done throughout this year and next year is develop a mentorship program for student athletes with people who are not in their school. Because the toughest part is it's very tough to have that to be vulnerable to people who have to coach you, because that shows weakness. So you may be afraid to let them know what you're going through. And sometimes you don't want to show it. And if the coach doesn't really know, maybe the coaches can be more intuitive and talk to you, but they may not have an idea. Where if we get these young athletes, these young women and young men with other mentors from other schools, maybe they don't feel as vulnerable, or they're going to be judged by someone who's not coaching them. And maybe they can actually start to attack some of these issues that they have. And so Dave is absolutely right with everything he said.
Right.
Well, Jay, it was great having you as always. I appreciate you, brother. I'm proud of everything that you are doing. If you need any help, please let us know.
Right.
We will. Thank you, friends of the show.
I'm gonna get the information too, because I'm interested in that also. So
this is what I do, 100%. Dave.
We need some more Black men.
This is what I do, Dave. I do the hookup. You feel what I'm saying? All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Be safe.
Later.
Yes, and now we're going to admit Coco because she's been waiting in the room. Let's see what she got to say. It was supposed to be 101, but she's like, you guys are all on time today. Hello, sister.
Hi.
So it was supposed to be one-on-one, but like everyone's on time. See, Laron, it's just you. And so we're gonna just I'm gonna bounce my questions off of both of you. I guess I have my questions set up right here.
Okay.
First, Dave gave us a little intro on what he does. Coco, if you could at least tell us what you do, your profession, if you don't mind.
For sure. So I'm a social worker, but I currently have 3 jobs. I work at juvenile probation as a supervisor. I do therapy for adults and couples, and I interview kids for Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
So that's 4.
It feels like 4.
Oh, okay. No problem. Well, that's a lot. So good for you. You could definitely help us with what I'm trying to convey here for today for our mental health. I said previously, mental health awareness is in May, but honestly, especially due to COVID, it is almost every damn day. I am a number one person. Some days I'm high and some days I'm low. I feel like I am trapped in this house with my best friend, And some days it's easy and some days it's hard. And I just felt like if I'm going through this and people look at me as a happy-go-lucky, she has it all person, then someone definitely, there's millions of other people who are going through it as well. And I just thought you guys would be great to help me answer some questions and to help other people who may feel the same way as well. You know, just because you're pretty face, nice makeup, you know, it's like, it's not just always, you know, I'm talking about myself.
I was like, oh, are you talking about me?
No, I was talking about me. Don't you like my eyeliner? Okay.
Love it.
Okay, so Dave, you are a guidance counselor. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Well, so all right.
It's a new change. Okay.
That's another thing. The term guidance counselor is kind of like obsolete now. So it's called school counselor. They said, from what I've known, they saying guidance is more of a one directional thing. So
I like that.
We're school counselors because we serve to a little bit of everything. Any type of social emotional support, any type of post grad, secondary, and any type of emotional, any type of anything that you kind of need, we kind of cater to your needs. So guidance is like one direction. Guidance is like, I'm guiding you here, like I'm that. So school counselor is more broad, and because it covers more bases.
And I feel that's so important for our youth. And like you said, do you agree?
I definitely agreed that the counseling is definitely important for the youth. You know, when we were growing up, I'm assuming we were all around the same age somewhat. Mm-hmm. We were growing up. We didn't really have.
I'm old. Go ahead.
Well, I want to speak. I don't want to.
We didn't have anyone, and right. I don't know about you, but in the Black household, I'm Haitian. Coco's Haitian. Your business in your house stays in your house.
Right.
Even if you're struggling, you're crying every day. What do you mean you went to go talk to someone else?
Right. So that's
tell them something is wrong.
So that's the thing that's especially in the Black. This is a Black generational thing. It always been like that. Goes back to beyond us, but that's the thing that we all kind of went through, and that's why I feel like it's more important, like that you can come out and have somebody that looks like you to speak to you, to speak to, or have somebody that looks like you that did it or that been certain places and did certain things, and they're able to relate to you and show you some type of direction that, especially for the young adults, the young, the adolescents and the children, the babies, even them. To show you what kind of direction to go in, or what's right, what's kind of wrong, what's kind of like it's okay to express certain things and certain things and things like that.
And that also helps you for your adulthood.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because if you're told don't speak up, don't say this, don't do this, when you get into a relationship with someone else, it could end up being an abusive relationship or physical, mental. And I don't know, Coco, you could tell us more because you said with juvenile, and most of them probably are in that situation because they had no one to tell them something was not good. This is not how you're supposed to do it. This is not how you're supposed to speak to a woman or someone.
Yeah, because it's kind of like your environment, right? Is creating, you're mimicking what you're seeing in your environment or what you're taught within your household. If there's
or what you're missing.
Parent, yeah, or if there's even a parent or guardian in the home, right? Because a lot of parents in low socioeconomic backgrounds, either they're working all the time or they're not able to be fully supervising their young person like they would like to. Right. And then our kids also have a lot of stigmas against therapy or speaking to someone because, like Dave said, they don't think that person's going to look like them. They have this idea that it's a couch with an older person who's not of color, and they're going to sit there and talk about their feelings. So they're very opposed to having that therapeutic intervention.
How can we go about, well, mostly you guys, because I just work, typing away for clients, but
that's not
you guys work more in the youth.
You help too.
Yeah.
I help maybe my friends, but I don't know.
You help everybody. You're a Black woman.
Exactly.
Everybody matters. Everybody helps.
Exactly, and that's something that everyone has to stop doing. I think everyone kind of downplays their role and how much they can intervene in other people's lives.
Or step back from it. Like, I don't got nothing to do with that, but you do have something to do with that.
Exactly.
I think I do with my friends. I take their issues on as mine.
Everybody.
Okay.
You're doing it right now.
Okay, this is why I needed you guys. What do you guys think that you do to help your youth or people who feel lost? Like, if someone came to you right now and was just like, I feel lost. Like, I can't put in exactly words how I feel. I just don't feel like myself. I'm asking for a friend.
Okay, well, for me personally, I just provide like an open, non-judgmental space. I think it's hard to even talk to your friends because your friends will have something to say. They'll say that they're not judging you, but their tone, their facial features, how they're reacting to you, that really affects people. And you don't even know, you're not even conscious that you're doing it, but you are. And next time somebody is in dire need, they might not come to you.
Right.
100% agree.
No, absolutely. So for me, first thing I always let people know is that it's okay to feel like that. Like, you got to let people know that it's normal. It's normal. When you normalize things being normal, it's better to cope with certain things. You get what I'm saying? So if someone is comes to me on that, I'm gonna let them know, like, listen, like, it's okay to feel that way. You're not any different from anybody else. It's okay to feel that way, and then we'll take the necessary steps to find out what's going on and what's causing certain things and how we can improve it. But I feel like one main point of that is just normalizing that. It's like let people know, like, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do. It's okay.
I do all of this above.
Me too.
Like I said, before COVID, the number of mental illness was high among adults, but now it's increasing to about 19%, they said this year. About 1.5 million people have been seeking therapy since COVID. As an adult, I know that I'm definitely one of those people. Do you guys, with your youth or with your friends who are your peers, do you feel like maybe they may not have told you, but you know that it's getting a little hard for them? And what are some encouraging words? I know, like you guys said, you're not alone and you feel better and you could do this, but what if somebody needs a little bit more than just that?
Yeah, so I guess David's being a gentleman. Let me go first. But yeah, I 100% think literally all of my friends have been vocal, luckily, about they are going through something. A lot of my friends live by themselves. They were quarantined for a long time. You don't have the same social interactions. You've lost people. This is everybody's first time going through a pandemic. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I definitely encourage seeking therapy, talking to people, and being vocal about your problems. Like you said.
You just said one thing, I'm sorry to cut you off, which was so good. It's like you're like a lot of single people or people who live at home. But I want the single people, if you're watching this, to know it doesn't happen only if you're single or living at home. It's happening with your husband. It's happening with having multiple kids. It's happening living with your family. You could still be feeling like I can't deal with this shit anymore. Sorry. So I just wanted to say that for single women out there, and also with social media. And I know I talk to Coco about this all the time. I really think social media, especially with COVID, has played. And now with maybe some more people traveling, you know what I'm saying? It's even making some people like, damn, I have no one to go with, or I can't do this or that, or panic just thinking, like I'm on them, panicking just thinking about going on a plane, like, what if I catch it?
Which is all valid.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my part of it is when you actually have to you are at that point where it's past seeing just you. That's when you have to know, like, you have to seek other advice from people or someone that might be a little bit different from you, or a professional. Not to say no one's not a professional, but a professional or things like that. And this ties back into my point why I said that everyone's important. That was because sometimes I feel like everybody should go see somebody.
Agree. I even think if you're married and you have no issues, you
Right.
should go see a counselor.
But because if you think about it, if you have friends or loved ones, people you love, you have to go see somebody for them. Sometimes you have to go together.
That's a
And
word.
you have to learn how to be a better person to them. You have to be, both of you guys have to learn how to be better or learn how to
For each other, yeah.
for each other. So and it's not even like no relationship. If it's a friend, if it's your dog, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you still have to learn how to be better for the next person. So that support system there, because when healing is not about just yourself. It's a process. It's a process that like when like that term, it takes a village. That's a real thing. So it's a process.
And I also think you have to be honest.
Right, you definitely have to be honest.
Absolutely.
With yourself first.
Yeah,
Yes.
agree.
Yeah.
Yourself first.
It's
You
like
got to
the thing, you can't find someone to love you until you love yourself.
Right.
Like, you have to be honest if you're going through something with yourself. Like, F telling other people, but you have to at least, tell yourself, like, nah, something's not right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have to be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I will see a lot of people be like, oh, don't talk to me crazy. Don't do this crazy to me. But how are you to yourself? Like, do you talk crazy to yourself? Because if you wake up in the mirror and you look at yourself and you tell yourself you're fat, you're not beautiful, how can you tell other people how to treat you if you're not treating yourself correctly?
And that goes back to what I'm saying, love yourself. Because, like, you see me, you know what I'm saying? But it took a long time to get here. No, it took a while for me to be like, I am me. I am amazing. And if someone doesn't like what he sees or about me, that's their problem. I have my own issues, and they're not like how I look or whatever like that. Those are never, ever were my issues in life. And I think some people have those issues, and then they let people talk to them whatever way they want.
Those are the issues that breeds insecurities.
Yeah.
What I say to that is like, your confidence level in self, like you said, yourself, it should be self first. It has to be of a certain level, and people have to let you know that you are of a certain level. So like, things I struggled with when I was like growing up was like, I didn't have confidence in myself with a lot of things. And looking back at it now back then, if I would have had the confidence I have now when I was growing up, I'd have been in a whole different aspect right now.
Yeah.
Because
and you have to watch exactly what you get into a stage where I am. It's actually funny. I took a test of like, what's your love language? And it said your love language is it's like what you grew up with.
Right.
Ooh.
Right. So what I grew up with, my mom telling me all the time, like, who effing cares what they say about you? You are popping. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are amazing.
Right.
And what your love language is not is what you grew up lacking. So like, I grew up lacking my mom hugging me. Like, to this day, I think I hug her because like she's really sad and down. Right. Like, Carl, my husband, will hug me, and I'm like, why are we hugging?
Right.
Like,
so,
to me,
so
that's just weird.
Right. So now it's like, what are you doing?
It's strange. Yeah, it's foreign.
Yeah, but I love for him to say, hey, you're smart. Hey, you're pretty. Coco, how many times I just said it? Like, look at me.
Yeah.
Like, that's what, and I think people have to understand that also, what they like and what they don't like, what's acceptable and what's not.
Right. Absolutely.
I think that's, yeah.
Do you feel that women have more mental health issues or men? Why are you guys both smiling? I think I have mine, to be honest.
I'll let Dave go first.
Okay, and then I'll be the last one. I'll see who I agree with.
I'm gonna go first and say that. All right.
Whoever is thinking what I'm thinking.
Break it down in two categories. So it's like, I feel like when you talking about, I definitely gonna be careful.
No, speak your mind. This is the B show. Be you, do you.
I'm gonna say, when it comes to Black people, I say men, because men are taught to hide their emotions. So when
I agree.
That's a word.
Right. So when we are able to express certain things, that's, if you think about what it ties into, hiding your emotion goes back to, you know what I'm saying, not being like soft, or not soft, they would call not being, don't cry, like be a man and things like that. So now, if you think about it, a lot of that stuff makes you, and that's what your environment breeds, right? So that's what your environment breeds. You can't be this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now,
and that goes, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's even what I was saying earlier to Jay. Like if you're a basketball player, a football player, right? And your parents put you in, like, especially football, they put you in this and you get tackled down and you're like, yo, I'm hurt, Dad.
Right.
I don't think I can play tomorrow.
Like,
what? This is a man's game, okay? You put your shoulder pads on. You didn't see Donald? He got flip-flamp over. Come on now. I'm just
but like it goes past that. So like a sports mentalities are for life mentalities. So like it correlates. They do that for life. So you can, however you carry yourself. So that's why it's good to start sports at a young age, because when you do start at a young age, it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you carry it over into your normal life. Being on time, punctuality, uniformity, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So now in your normal life, when you learn things like that and you grow up in a certain environment, that's how a lot of men end up in prison, because it's now, don't show no emotion.
Exactly. Get up.
Don't be soft. Don't make nobody do that to you and you walk away. Like, it's things like that. You know what I'm saying? And then
or having the pressure that I gotta succeed because I gotta take care of my whole family.
Right. So now we're taught that, and that's the way we're raised, and then that's what we generate. That's why a lot of men do end up in jail, or you know what I'm saying, or a lot of things are dead, or not with, you know, not living to their full potential. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say men, and for Black men in general, just for all, I don't, that's one gonna be hard. I would say I would say women in that aspect, because I feel like y'all deal with a lot more, including like y'all able to bring life into the earth, different things that y'all just deal with. I feel like y'all deal with a lot more. So I feel like things like that, women have more, if in the world, I would say women have more mental issues than men. Like I said, I could be totally wrong, but in my opinion, yes.
All right. Okay, Coco, your turn.
I'll definitely agree with Dave in terms of like people of color. I don't know if it's an issue of more though. Like I think everyone has their own issues in terms of their mental health. So I don't want to downplay necessarily if someone is going through an issue that someone else might not think is of a certain gravity, because a breakup
of different times. Like right now, I would say the Asian community is probably going through it the most right now.
Exactly. And I want to acknowledge that. That's what I think a lot of people do. It's not necessarily a competition or a comparison. So I definitely want to respect that. I just do think that women are more vocal and more willing to accept and get help because of the things that Dave named.
And also that goes back to being a woman being told. So see how a man is told you got to be strong. We're told as a woman, you got to be independent. You can't rely on anyone. Or you're told you got to make sure this is perfect. Don't crack in front of your man. He works long hours. You got to be Betty Bo Peep, perfect all the time. You got to cry, go in the closet. Don't let your kids see that.
Right.
But I definitely think, and I was telling one of my guy friends this because he was having like a moment, like there's a lot of strength and vulnerability. Like you have to be, when you're vulnerable, you're actually at one of your strongest points because you're allowing someone to see you at a weak moment. And that takes a lot of strength. Yes. Yeah, that's huge. So when people talk about, I'm not going to cry in front of you, I'm not going to this, I'm like, okay, so then you actually not being that tough right now, because when you're crying by yourself, what are you proving? You're not proving anything.
I cry in the middle of a dot, so it's nothing.
I'm a baby, so I'll cry right now if I have to.
Yeah. I had to hold the tear in for a moment. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Please don't start crying, please.
Yeah, Dave gonna disconnect, lose internet.
They're gonna be like, call lost. Okay, so after hearing the both of you, I kind of gotta agree with Dave.
Oh, connection lost, interruption.
What he brought to the table sounded intelligente. You know what I'm saying? That's for my Spanish people watching. Hola. I agree with 100% what he said, because men are taught that. And then I think that trickles down to effing with some females. And
Absolutely.
then that's a cycle.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So you're taught that, and then you carried it on, and then unfortunately that your son sees it, and your daughter sees it, and then it just keeps trickling until someone says, like, I had enough. Let's break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So both of you work helping the youth, which is great, but who helps you guys?
That's a good question.
Because you have to take some of this, even though you're told to leave it at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no way you don't go home sometimes and think about these kids.
So for me, I've definitely trying to take the necessary steps to go see someone that can help me. But I've been on a journey to search someone, to see someone that looks like myself, so that will understand more. Not this. I don't want to generalize it, so I don't want to say that they will understand more because they look like me. But I just will feel more comfortable sharing that with
You need someone who understands Saturday morning you had to wake up at the crack of dawn with music playing for no reason.
And it's kind of weird. It's like living a double life. So your counselor jacket or your social work jacket, or you kind of gotta, like, it's on like probably 16 hours out the day or whatever how many hours out the day, however you deal with it. You take it off, and then you're you, and then you go through your stuff, and it's like, it's just like you're perfect at telling people, you know what I'm saying, doing what you do.
Got it. Yeah.
And then when it's hard for it to tie back into whatever you're doing. But that's why you have to, I say one thing that does help for self, like a lot of self, like affirmation, like a lot of things, like, you know, like I love what you do, Deb, like tell yourself you're beautiful, tell yourself, like, you know what I'm saying, to not gas yourself up, but like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
She be gassing. It's
I gas all my friends up.
Look.
Premium Sunoco.
And I gas all my friends up. The first thing I did when Dave came was like, yo, I'm a fan.
Right.
So, I had to let him know I gas everybody up because life is too short.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to know, you know, what you're good at and what you're not good at, and what makes other people smile. Maybe you working out makes me smile.
Right.
Go with my classes makes me smile. You know, you got to let people know.
You got to give them their flowers while they're here.
Yes.
So sometimes, like, you have to. That's another point of it. You got to find a part of finding your balance in life is finding things that you like to do that makes it therapeutic and makes you, you know what I'm saying, makes you. So like, if you write, if you like to write, you like to read, you know, you like to work out, you like to play ball, hang out, you like to shop, you know what I'm saying? Those are the things you find things in you. And then the crazy part about it is that you start to create, you know, your mind becomes creative when you in those things. So it's like you kind of make it. I think that's really how, like, people of their craft become people of their craft. They go through things, and then they actually find certain things that they're good at, and then they just build on it and find other ways to do it, and then you get like the Jay-Z's of the world, or things like that.
And I would like to say that is very true. Sometimes you don't know what you have, and just a little something, you know, sprinkle you throw on someone else, and they just blossom.
Right.
That's why I keep Coco around, because she helped me. I'm not lying. You helped me. I don't like to tell people a lot what I'm going through. So when I break down, people are like, girl, where the heck this been coming from, you know? But Coco has helped me with saying, like, you gotta tell people when something is wrong. Just don't wait for it to bottle up.
Yeah, that's a big
thing
that we learn.
People like that around us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So the moral of the story is surround yourself with Cocos?
No, that's not what the moral of the story is. But Coco, same question. What do you do?
Oh yeah, so I'm with Dave. I used to go to therapy, and it was someone who looked like me, and that was helpful. But therapy is like dating, right? So you got to go through the therapist to find the right match. I just don't think she was 100% the match for me. So now I work out. I love working out. That's my therapeutic like release. I love running. It kind of just leaves it all on the pavement for me. And I'm a journaler. I definitely write through my emotions and try to like heal myself through that.
I miss working out. I'll get there back again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for people who say like, oh, you can't work out from home, it's completely, that's a
They
lie.
better get that Fit On app,
Girl,
order a Peloton, do what they need to do.
follow LeBron and then just copy the moves.
Right?
Like, do this, people like, oh.
Use that stimmy and order a Peloton.
Yes.
That's a good investment.
Possible. And I think it's also, like you said, do what you love. At the end of the day, I used to say this to Carl all the time, my husband, at the end of the day, you're going to die alone, right? So why not die doing the things you love?
Absolutely.
Why not die doing the things that please you? So if tomorrow's your last day, while you're in heaven waiting for your ticket to enter, you could be like, you know what? I literally died doing what I love and being around the people that I love. And I think that's the biggest thing for mental health. It's be you, do you, and be around the people that you love. And we're like eggs, right? Sometimes we're gonna crack. Sometimes we are hard boiled. You know what I'm saying? We're good together. But at the end of the day, we're just human.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we scramble.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yes, sometimes scramble. Sometimes we're poached.
Right.
You know?
What? You lost me.
A nice little eggs Benedict poached.
Oh my God! All right, you.
Hey guys, that's why when you have no carbs, eggs is what becomes your favorite thing to eat. But I want to thank the both of you so much for being on the B Show. Coco, your second time.
Thank you.
Dave, don't be a stranger.
Absolutely not. I'll be back. You just gotta let me know.
You heard that, ladies?
I am.
Just because you're married doesn't mean you can't. And the worst part is Carl's watching this show. So. He has nothing to say. Crazy, thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have any self-help books that you guys know that can help other people, including me, please feel free to DM it to me and I will post it and let everyone know. Sure. Or if you know of any places that people can, it's hard because of COVID, but any, places that people can, any place anyone could call, anyone they could talk to, or if you guys want to talk, especially Coco, you're a therapist, we got a guy.
Send them to me. Dave, I'm taking referrals.
Right.
Send them to me.
All right, I'm free 99. Thanks, family discount. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being on my show. Appreciate the both of you.
All right, later.
Hey, bye, guys.
Well, guys, that was my show. I hope you liked it. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned a little bit. COVID is real, and it's been a year, but we are still not as free as we would like to be. I mean, I'm counting down the days for summer where I could start working out and hanging out with my friends outside. But until then, just try to enjoy what you have around. And I know this sounds like a hypocrite because I'm not doing all of those things. But I'm going to try once I get this injection in my knee, because I'm not really mobile. I'm a hobbit. But once that's all done and I'm back to normal, I definitely will start going back to my working out and all that in between. In the meantime, I want you guys to just take care of yourselves, take care of each other. If you need help, please seek it. If you want to DM me privately, I know of a great free therapist online. And I love you all for watching. This is the B Show. And this is me being my truth and my honest self. Last week was a hard week for me, but I'm here and I did the show and I don't have one effing tear. So if I can do it, so can you. And let's just take a moment for my eyeliner. Fabulous. Well, This is the B Show. This is your girl, Deborah Voltaire Coulange, and I'm out.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.